touchy situation, gave Abraham back his wife, and blessed him. And then God blessed Abimelek. Sometimes the people of God see right conduct among individuals who are themselves far from God. Abimelek's words rebuked Abraham's sinful deceit. No fear of God in this place, which means that Abraham did not expect just dealings from these people. He thought they would be treacherous and kill him to get at his wife. Must have been from prior experience he had in other places where he's seen this happen. Still, this does not excuse Abraham's actions. Fear of God produces a reverence that shows itself in thought, word, and deed. Surprisingly, Abraham feared other humans more than God in this instance. I have seen this on a much smaller scale, where a guy that is not a good fighter will have a very pretty girlfriend or wife, and other guys that are more powerful resent that. They're jealous, and they will attack him in many ways. And when the woman sees him humiliated, beaten, robbed, or otherwise embarrassed, eventually she will break up with him. So, I guess it's a common thing with testosterone. I'm sure he had a good reason to think that, but in this case, apparently he was wrong. Fear of God. There was no fear of God in this place. Abraham did not expect fair dealings. Still, this does not excuse Abraham's action. Fear of God produces a reverence that shows itself in thought, word, and deed. Surprisingly, Abraham feared other humans more than God in this instance. Abimelek showed Abraham the kind of grace and generosity that Abraham, who knew God, should have shown to him. When the king returned Sarah and the gifts to Abraham, and the Lord reopened the wombs of the women in his household, it publicly affirmed Sarah's honor. God prevented anything that might discredit the birth of Isaac. So, when everybody saw Abimelek blessing Abraham, they know this man is like family to Abimelek. Do not mess with them, or you will suffer the wrath of the king, Abimelek, at the very least. So, by him giving them land and silver and cattle and sheep, whatever they needed to have a wealthy lifestyle, he's saying, this is my family. Don't mess with them, or you mess with me. You'll answer to me. All this was done by Yahweh in order that Sarah would give birth to Isaac. Isaac means laughter, and that's what they named him, because when Sarah heard God, the angels telling Abraham, you're going to give birth to a son, and they were both, I think, in their 90s or 80s, she giggled with excitement and shock. And so they named the boy Laughter, Isaac. These verses mention the Lord's promise 3 times to illustrate that everything happens exactly as God says it will. You can see this in Galatians 4:23, 1 Samuel 2:21, and in Genesis 18:14. Abraham celebrated his son's birth by doing as God had commanded. He circumcised Isaac when he was 8 days old. Obeying God from the beginning is a great start for any father. Okay, that's the end of Genesis 20. I've got some notes here on keeping a positive attitude, because there's so much evil and bad around us, but there's a lot of good too. And what you think about, you bring about. I say in every episode, what you focus on, where energy goes. Where focus goes, energy flows. So if you're focusing on your car breaking down, what you think about, you attract. So if you're focusing on, oh, my car broke down, you're going to get more car problems, not less. You have to say, well, think of something good. I got a job. I will take a part of each of my checks, and I'll fix the car, or I'll use a credit card and fix it. Everything's going to be fine. You got to kind of ignore it. Otherwise, you're going to just bring more problems to yourself. There's bad everywhere you look. If you're planting a garden, you see this. It's hard to grow good plants. I'm trying to grow tomatoes and jalapenos and onions and cucumbers and bell peppers, and it's very hard. But weeds grow everywhere. There's weeds in every little crack, growing all around my plants, trying to kill the plants. They grow anywhere. There are weeds growing on top of a little leaf on the concrete. They're using the leaf as soil. That's how strong they are. That's because of the curse of the Garden of Eden. So it's hard to make a living. But if you leave it go, if you leave the garden alone, it will just all be taken over by weeds. So you have to focus on your tomato plant. Water it. Pull all the weeds up around it. Make sure it gets sun, not too much sun. You have to focus on what you want to grow. So focus on good things, and you'll get more good things. If you find yourself being sad, upset, depressed, angry, frustrated, these are negative thoughts which are going to snowball. It's not going to get better, you thinking about it. All you're going to do is send yourself into depression. So, first of all, adjust your posture. Force yourself to smile. And try to move forward and think. And you can change the chemistry of your blood, the hormones released from your brain, by thinking about happy things. Try to be excited, exhilarated, enthusiastic, and hopeful. These will change the chemical balance in your blood, and you automatically, especially you adjust your posture, stand up straight. Don't be like this. My dog got run over by a car. I'm so sad. Of course, you're going to be sad, and you got to go through it. You can't just be happy all the time. So go through your sad period. Say, I'll let myself be sad for 2 hours, because I love my dog. I got to get this out of my system. But then I got to move forward. I got to be positive. I got to get out of this depression in order so that tomorrow won't get worse. You want to attract only good things. So then after you think you got it out of your system, because you got to laugh, you got to cry. It's just equal sides of the same cycle. You can't always be happy. You can't always laugh. You can't. Anyway, so then you start to bring yourself out of it after your morning's over, and focus on good things. And then the first thing I always do is say, thank you, God, for my house. Thank you, God, for my car. Thank you, God, for my son, for my daughter, my job. Just obvious things. There are many, many things to be thankful for. Thank you, God, my mother didn't abort me. So many ladies now kill their babies. Abort their babies. There are many things to be grateful for. My mom didn't. She did far more than that. She gave us everything, her whole life. So she's still trying to take care of us in her 80s. So as soon as I start being grateful, I start to smile, and let that move you forward to the next step of your plans for the future. Okay, this is going way too long. Thank you very much for episode 37, Genesis 20. God bless you, and I'll see you next week.